So I'm Pawas. I am 20 years old, or 21 years old now, and I'm from Bhopal. Currently, I'm studying at Ashoka University. I am in my fourth year, majored in political science, minored in English literature, and for my fourth year, I'm writing an ASB thesis. I'm writing a thesis of political science department, and I'm writing it with Professor Pratap. So about what I want to do in my life, I'm not very sure at the moment. Um, I would like to think that I will join academy someday. I'd like to write books. I'd like to teach people. I would like to. Uh, I would like to talk to. I would like to bedazzle people as our beloved Professor Mehta used to. Um, and yeah, I would want to be Professor Mehta to someone's life. Um, More than that, my parents haven't really, at least in childhood, they haven't really asked me to become a certain specific thing. My mother, a little more than my father, was wanting me to get into some kind of a government job because, as I said, a mother's affection and her what she wants me to be comfortable throughout the day. My dad, not so much. My dad has been much more flexible with whatever I want to become, whatever I want to study. Now he wants me to be slightly more serious about where I want to get. If academia it is, then I must shoot for it. I must not think that I will get there because it is shrinking. It has been shrinking ever since pandemic started. It was something else entirely different. Nothing. No one has ever. Uh, no one has ever impressed upon me so much than Professor Mehta. I took 3 courses with him over the last 3 years, and uh, sometimes it's really unfortunate, rather sad that people couldn't appreciate how much he was to us. I mean, how well read he was, about how smart he really was, about what he was actually doing for us. Um, I still remember in my fourth semester, second year, I was doing a course with him called Western Political Thought 1. We covered thinkers from Plato to, I think the last thinker was Rousseau. I think the last thinker was Rousseau. And it was an 8:30 class. And people in Ashoka usually have the habit of crashing late. We would like to think of ourselves as sleepy, as night owls, but yeah, we kind of crash late usually. So most of us would go to bed around 1, 2, sometimes even 3, 4, and then there's an 8:30 class, and that too a political theory class. Very few people would turn out. Sometimes, including me, there were 3 or 4 people in a class of 100. It was just sad because this person was teaching us something that no one has ever heard before. Not because of the content of the course or anything of the sort, but because the way he taught it, he actually made some of the very boring thinkers seem less boring, and that was something that was really sad. But then there was the second class which I took, and pardon my language, I think it gave me mental orgasms through and through in many of the classes. So we were reading about Immanuel Kant, and reading Kant is no easy job. I mean, we kind of. I am still living in the same residence hall as I was living for past 3 years. Now I've been living in the same residence hall for the past 3 years. Whenever you exit this hall, you see this really huge ass building coming up. There's the new library, the new academic block. There's so many stuff. There's so many rooms. And you also get to hear that there is another campus coming up right next to our own campus, and this is going to be bigger, better, Ashoka 2.0 and whatnot. But come to think of it, what have we traded for that really? Then we traded one of the best minds on planet. I mean, I'm not even going on. I'm not even going out on a limb to say this. He is one of the smartest people on campus. Just look at the people who came out in support when he had to resign. Several big names. Be it Sandel. There were so many big names. Spivak. mean, there's so many big names who came out in support. And what have we retraded him for? Brick and mortar and buildings that create a spectacle that edify people who stand in front of them. But really, they are nothing but people putting together bricks and mortar. They can't think for us. They just sit there. They just stand there. They can't do anything other than that. So Ashoka stood for a lot of things when we came here. It was freedom of opinion and many other such things. Let's just leave it at that. But freedom of opinion was one thing that it really stood for. And sometimes it seems it doesn't really. At least it doesn't anymore. And it is fitting to say that when founders were supposed to walk, they started crawling instead. And it's really disheartening because everybody wants a university to be the national headline for a week, to be in the headlines for a week, but not for this reason. And it stings more. It stings more because I'm a political science major, and the first group of people that he addressed after his resignation was us. And there was one thing that he said in the lecture, and that was when we asked him, was there any external pressure? Was there anything else influencing him in the decision, in taking the decision? And he said, "Samajhne wale samajh gaye." And that just breaks you from inside. That just makes you feel really bad. So my father was very apprehensive to send me back for the 4th year because the department is, of course, letting a person go for expansion of university was a practical decision. But if you are justifying it by saying that for larger freedom of opinion you sacrificed one single voice, then I would disagree because you are only contradicting yourself in principle.
True. I agree.
So ठीक है, you got more labs.
मैं तुझसे एकदम agree करता हूँ, but I'm just putting in a counterpoint जो मुझे सुनने में आता है, जो लोग कहते हैं कि Ashoka University is not PBM.
Yeah, but is Ashoka University so much of Ashoka University without PBM? It's Ashoka.
No, but should Ashoka University be PBM?
नहीं, of course not.
नहीं ना, वही तो मैं कह रहा हूँ.
But replace PBM with someone.
Then there's no one, no.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah.
Now Ashoka University is just brick and mortar, and the atrium wall, and a swimming pool which is empty, and a gym which has time slots. So what is it really without its people? I mean, there are so many people who were deterred by the decision of PBM.
Yeah. So Pawas, तेरे हिसाब से, do you think Ashoka University, एक tumultuous, chaotic Indian education system के अंदर, it's a ray of hope?
I would have said that I agree with you if you have asked me this question 2 or 3 years back. But now I think it's just another university, to be very, very honest. Coming back for the 4th year was a very controversial, and I could have gone to any other Indian university if it's just about any other Indian university, right? But I came back for my own material, personal, and other reasons. I wanted to come back because I have to go abroad. I want to go abroad, I want to study abroad, I want to study under some people that can only be enabled through Ashoka. Now, I haven't come back for the Ashoka ethos, mind you. I haven't come back because I believe that Ashoka is something special, no matter how much you would like to do. I have come back for very logistical and straightforward practical reasons. Now, the kind of faculty that we boasted of about 2 or 3 years back, it has thinned down. We still have great people in our faculty. It's not like we don't have great people in our faculty, but not as great as they used to be. So I would say the other thing is, of course, there were people. The other one thing that separated from us from the other university is that.
तेरे हिसाब से Ashoka University is just a pleasure island?
It has come to become. It has become one over the years. I would say it's the most expensive gym membership in Sonia.
That's true.
Gym membership and a very mediocre food plan.
Yeah.
With some good outlets.
कैसे सुधार सकते हैं अभी जो situation है अपने campus का university का? How can we improve it?
Beg PBM to come back, get good faculty. have the same rigor that you had in admission process. And
तुझे कैसे लग तुझे क्या लग रहा है कि क्यों तू हाउ आर यू सो श्योर कि अपना रिगर academic process जो जो admission process में होता है वो खत्म हो चुका है? How
see,
do you know
if
that?
there were 20,000 people who applied with us and there were 400 of us who got selected, that means something, right? Now you can't say that there are 800 people selected, so the number of application would have been in 80,000, 90,000. That isn't the case.
How do
The
you know
number
that?
because that's the number with the departments, and people in the department have informed other people that the number has more or less remained the same, if not plus minus 5,000 difference. The cohort has increased.
Hmm.
The number of applications maybe not so much.
Hmm.
What does that indicate?
Which means कि
See, there was one. So back in boarding school, when I had no clue about where to go after 12th grade, my roommate told me about Ashoka University. That there is this university that I want to apply to. It's liberal arts. I had no fucking clue about what liberal arts is. Then he explained liberal arts to me. And I was like, oh, this might be something I want to do. So we applied together. He didn't get in. I got in. Two of our seniors whom we looked up to, we later got to know applied to Ashoka and didn't get in. And then getting in was a big deal because we thought that Ashoka is super selective. We were told that Ashoka is the I mean, go about okay. Just I implore you to take a walk around campus. You will come across about 150, 200 people, right? They all dress the same. They all talk the same. They have the exact same lingo. And there's a very good chance of those 200 people, 95% are economics majors, or at least prospective economics major. How are they any different? So are you telling me that Ashoka has come to be nothing but a home to people who wear Converses, track pants, joggers, and a loose sweatshirt? What's really different from how are we any different from any other university in that way? Do we really talk about marks? No, we don't. I mean, it's not. I'm not saying we should only talk about marks. Do we talk about anything whatsoever in our free time? What do we really talk about? To what a frisbee game it was.
No, but मैंने देखा है जो काफी they have intellectual conversations all the time.
Where?
Politics discuss कर रहे होते हैं, economics discuss कर रहे होते हैं.
Where?
मैं ये बोलूँगा कि हाँ थोड़ा course restricted होता है. They don't have a vision for the future. They don't talk about how we can improve someone else's life. But I have seen कि intellectual conversations do happen on campus.
How can improve comes later. First, you at least need to acknowledge that there is a problem. You will talk about the guard bhaiya who didn't get to complete his education and has to stand throughout the night when you walk around sipping chai from dhaba. But you have to acknowledge that there is a problem. You just can't go back.
Yeah, what is the problem?
The problem is that you are a product of the system. I mean, it's going to sound very idealistic. It sounds very idealistic, but you are a product of the system that you get to study in a college in which the person who is the same age as you has to look after your insecure ass because.
But ये तो हर जगह है bro, ये तो हर आईवी लीग के अंदर भी है.
हो गई.
हाँ तो फिर मतलब अभी तो हर यूनिवर्सिटी में होता है और खासकर रेजिडेंशियल
अशोका को क्यों गाली दो सिर्फ?
गाली कौन दे रहा है अशोका को?
मैं दे रहा हूँ, मैं तो बोल रहा हूँ. मैं क्यों दे रहा हूँ? क्योंकि यार देख मेरा I see through a certain lens, right? I haven't been to other universities.
Yeah.
But the one that I have been to, I see this happening. Doesn't mean that it is happening in other universities, so I'll shut up.
No, of course not.
If anything, you should form a cross-university platform in which we all come together and say, Dick, I get your question about Ashoka being a liberal university, a liberal arts university, and by extension having a liberal ethos. And hence there are people whose opinions differ from other people. And I think I know what you're talking about. I think I know exactly the people you're talking about. I exactly know the opinions that you're talking about. But okay, by all means, they should have a platform. Okay, they should have a platform. But if you have I'll say that these people have a right to express their opinion, but I have an equal right to believe that whatever they're saying is bullshit.
Yes.
Okay? And when I
You
say
have a
that
right
what
to
you're
not
saying is
listen.
bullshit, that doesn't mean I'm oppressing your opinion. I'm just saying it's bullshit. Now, I might like some opinions more than others. And there is a reason. There's a reason why some opinions may prevail over the others. That, say for example, I would say that I don't like a certain community of people, and they should all be killed because I just don't like seeing them. And there must be people of the same opinion here, or at least some variant of this opinion. Now they should first of all they shouldn't want to really talk about such an opinion. I mean, if they have a conscience, but even if they do, I should reserve the right as well to say it's bullshit.
Yes.
To not entertain such opinions, you don't need intellect. You just need compassion, and you are seeking compassion from people to hear about your opinion. But if you form opinions in first place that don't need compassion from other people for hearing them, just for help. Well, it was second semester, and I used to look very different from how I look right now.
Okay.
And I had very little friends. I'm not saying because of the way I looked, but I'm inclined to believe there must be some kind of connection or some kind of correlation. And one day I just broke down in, I think, a crowded place. I didn't so much as break down. I mean, I wasn't actively crying or anything of the sort, but if anybody would have looked at my face for 2 seconds, they would have seen I was very sad. But nobody did. I was among 500 people, but nobody.
कब की बात है?
This is second semester.
500 लोग कहाँ से आ गए कैंपस पे?
कोई इवेंट तो रहते हैं कैंपस पे. This is around lunch time. मेस गार्डन तब भरे रहते थे ना, मेस लॉन्स तो भरे रहते थे. Not 500 people, but I would say there were a good 200, 300.
I thought कोई event था.
नहीं, it wasn't an event. I was sitting right bang in the middle of one of the mess lawns. I was alone, utterly alone, and I just sat there for a while, my head between my legs, and I was very sad about a lot of different things. But nobody even looked twice.
No one cared.
No one cared. Now, I'll tell you one thing. If I look just as sad right now in front of so many people, even half as many people, at least five or six people will come and ask me what has happened.
How do you know that?
Because it has happened.
Because it has happened.
I was in the gym. I was having a really bad day, and I kind of broke down. And there can't be more than 12 people in the gym at a time. But 3 of them came and asked me what has happened. Are you okay? But imagine that happening with 300 people and nobody coming.
तेरे दोस्त थे जिम में?
No, these are people I never saw.
तेरे दोस्त कहाँ थे? तूने किसी को शेयर क्यों नहीं किया ये बात?
I was trying to keep to myself that semester.
अब सबसे अच्छी मेमोरी?
In an online class. So
प्रोफेसर का नहीं,
प्रोफेसर के साथ ही था.
नहीं ब्रो, प्रोफेसर हो गया ब्रो अभी. प्रोफेसर के बारे में नहीं, ऐसे मतलब कोई स्टूडेंट्स रिलेटेड ब्रो, तेरी पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस कोई उसमें बता. प्रोफेसर ने वाह बोला वो तो ठीक है, और उसके अलावा
it happened very recently actually, it wasn't even long back. There were about, and it happened in the gym of course. And it wasn't even my personal best. I was deadlifting some weight, and there were 5 people standing around me, and I knew 3 of them and 2 others, and they just stopped while I was doing it, and then 3 of them came and said, "Bro, what great shit, and I felt good.
Yeah.
I felt at home, like 5 people are watching me, and I appreciate it.
So second year से लेके fourth year तक काफी तूने changes देखे होंगे around socially.
Yeah.
तुझे लगता नहीं मतलब लोग कैसे चूतिए लोग हैं, जब चाहिए होते तो होते नहीं है, अब जब हो गया तब सब पीछे
यार
पीछे
तो
रहते हैं।
अब देखा जाए तो मैं कुछ खास अलग हूँ नहीं ना। मैं लोगों को एज अ कलेक्टिव आइडेंटिटी गाली दे सकता हूँ कि यार मी वर्सेस नॉट मी, लोग वर वेरी मीन एंड व्हाट नॉट, बट नाउ आई आल्सो हैव बिकम पार्ट ऑफ द क्राउड दैट इजंट as
But you'll be more compassionate now.
yeah
If you see the same Pawas जो कि 2 साल पहले
yeah
था,
I
you'll
want to
see.
be friends with that person.
Yeah. You won't ignore him. जब तू मेस में जा रहा होगा ऐसे बैठ के and you see that person, you know, sitting रो रहा
Yes.
होगा, you stop and say, "What's up, bro? Is
Yeah,
everything
nobody
okay?"
deserves that.
Yeah, that was bad.
Nobody deserves that.
Yeah.
But we are so self-obsessed.
Yeah.
Is this Ashokan's? Maybe not. I think everyone.
अशोका की हवा में कुछ अलग ही चीज़ है ब्रो, यहाँ पे लोग भी अपने आप को अलग ही टॉप मानते हैं
यार
campus
लेकिन
पे।
कम से कम अब जो लोग आ रहे हैं उनको तो नहीं मानना चाहिए, वो तो 800 के बैच में से हैं।
या वो उनको नहीं मानना।
उनको तो नहीं मानना चाहिए।
अच्छा लास्ट क्वेश्चन कि तेरा कुछ यू नो एडवाइस लोगों के लिए जो भी देखेगा डॉक्यूमेंट्री, अशोकन से अकेडमी के लिए कुछ नहीं, बट एज अ लाइफ एडवाइस तो क्या देना चाहेगा जो कि तुझे लग रहा है कि यू नो दिस एडवाइस आई हैव टू गिव।
Find that one thing that makes
अब
you.
दोबारा बोल एक मिनट, ऐसे मतलब पूछ कि वन एडवाइस आई गिव।
One advice that I would like to give anyone who's watching this is find that one thing that you think is your meaningless, completely meaningless universe. There is no meaning to this universe, but that one thing that gives most meaning to your life, and then just stick to it. Hold on to it for your dear life, and just work on that one thing, or one thing that you think gives meaning to your life, and it will be golden.
Sure. Anything else you want to say?
Bye bye.
Okay.